Yes, yes, the Casanovians. Boys, I just wanted to put this stream together. I actually think this is going to be one of the most valuable streams that I drop. I'm going to go deep on mindset, on dropping some esoteric wisdom and helping you become a magnet, yeah? Helping you become more magnetic, whether you want to attract a wife-worthy woman, get yourself a gob-smackingly gorgeous girlfriend, or just be happy, I guess. I've found that you become a magnet once you stop trying, okay? And some mantras that have been so valuable to me on my journey so far. Who would I be in the absence of my concerns? In other words, what would you do if you weren't scared? And what do I believe to be true about the world that isn't? Okay, what do you believe to be true about the world that isn't? Right, Plato said, people who tell stories rule the world. And what I found to be true is the more we try, the less we are. So one of my guys who I work with, he's based in Germany, and he was telling me a story of an experience that he had the other night where he went out to a nightclub in Germany, and there was this girl that he was into, and he wanted to attract her. So he was trying to be magnetic and employ his hashtag game, trying to compel this woman to like him. And then he dropped off, he went to the bar, he got himself a drink, and then the woman had disappeared, so he was like, oh, she's gone. Anyway, a couple of minutes later, he saw that same girl, like this really breathtakingly beautiful girl, and another guy had his arms around her. But this wasn't a typical guy, like the sort of guy who the online manospheric space makes out to be this hyper-masculine 15 raw eggs a day giga chad. No, he actually described this guy as looking like Jabba the Hook, from Star Wars. A guy in his 50s, he had a pot belly, he had crooked teeth, but yet he had this woman round his arm. And as he was narrating this story to me, something just clicked inside of me. And I really hope that this epiphanova that I've had just helps to bring more peace into your life. Because I think that, first of all, let's just define love, because I think that's going to be important for this stream. Like, what is love? Like, for me, true love is admiration without worship. Okay, true love is admiration without worship. So we're not making idols out of things. And I see this a lot with younger guys, and I notice it a lot in myself, former versions of myself. We idolize things that don't actually matter when it comes to attracting women. So like a lot of guys, especially young guys, will place a lot of emphasis on getting rich, getting ripped, getting a better jaw. Like, oh dude, I need to mew more. I need a gratitude journal. I need to get a Lamborghini. I need to insert thing. And what I've found is the more excess importance we place on acquiring these things, it actually makes us feel more stressed out, and it amplifies the perceived lack of self-worth that we feel. I'm not the best looking guy in the world. I'm not the tallest. I don't have the best body. I don't have the most money. But like, just this mantra that I keep saying to myself, which I really hope that is useful for you as well, is why don't we just do it all despite it all? Like, anti-attraction. Like, whenever, like, I've solo traveled at this point in my life to over 30 different countries. And whenever I travel to places like Eastern Europe especially, I always see men with the most beautiful women. And these men are not anything special on paper. In fact, they are the embodiment of anti-attraction. They're like short guys, bald, podgy, pot bellies. Like, they don't tick any of the conventional boxes of being this giga chad, high value male, whatever. But whenever I go to Eastern Europe, whenever I go to Bulgaria, I go to Poland, I go to Serbia, I always see these guys, these paragons of anti-attraction. And the more that I see this, and the more I speak with guys in my private network, guys who've got way more experience in the dating game than I have, guys who are in their late 30s, their early 40s, they've just seen more, they've done more, they've been on this earth for longer than me. So I take a lot of my counsel in guys in my network who've been on this planet and have experienced more than I have. And it's starting to connect the dots that we don't get what we deserve, we get what we think we deserve. And we don't achieve dreams, we achieve standards. So whenever I hear stories of Jabba the Hutt in Germany, this 50-year-old guy with a pot belly and crooked teeth pulling some absolute stunners, or I go to Eastern Europe and I see these little like troglodyte guys and they've got absolute worldies on their arm, it just solidifies my understanding more and more that it's a mental game, that we achieve standards that we set for ourselves. Like, that guy has got that girl because he thinks he deserves her. And I think the more we idealize needing to become a certain person or need to fit into these buckets that society or the internet especially has told us we need to have, like, oh dude, the only way you're gonna get a high quality woman is you need to have a 10-pack, you need to be making 10 figures, you need to be driving supercars. But I think the more we worship these things, and I only know this now because the guys who I work with, they should be crushing it on paper. Like, they are the epitome of these high value men where they've got money in the bank, they prioritize their health, they're living an incredible lifestyle, they've got all the materialistic trophies. But the thing which is lacking, and I think the thing which has almost pushed their ideal outcome further away, is the excess importance they've placed on their social standing, their materialistic acquisitions. And it's just like, I don't know, I'm just trying to share this like esoteric stream of consciousness with you here to just, I hope, wake you up and to save you a lot of pain and wasted effort thinking that you're going to get the woman when you've got the money or you've got the sports car. It's not what you have, it's who you are. And that's why I say to you balls all the time, it's not what you say, it's not how you say it, it's who you are when you say it. But like, just imagine how free you would feel if you already felt as though you were enough and you were able to operate from that place of wholeness rather than from that place of lack, because it's like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And I'm trying to explain this to you, working with the guys who already fit into this bracket of high value men. They're still struggling when it comes to women. That's why they work with me, because all game is the transfer of certainty. It's learning how to get what you want, and it's learning how to deliver your value to the world. If you've got all those materialistic trophies, but you still think you're an unlovable piece of shit on the inside, it's like working your bollocks off to buy a Lamborghini and then being too scared to drive it. This is an inner game that we're playing, right? It's so much of a mental game. And that's why I try and explain to you, the guys who I work with, and I have these conversations with myself every day. It's not about learning anything new, it's unlearning, right? Stripping back all of these layers of social conditioning so we can connect with our most authentic self. Who would you be in the absence of your concerns? In other words, what would you do if you weren't scared? Like, how would you act if you already thought you were enough? This is just me talking to myself right now. Like, how would you show up in the world? You'd be operating on what I call godly frequency, which is, for me, the highest frequency we can operate on, where it's like, we don't need anything from the world anymore. We're not operating those low frequency vibrations of envy, of jealousy, of grief, of what are the other ones? Oh, what's that one? Guilt. Yeah, we're not operating on these low frequency vibrations where it's like that crabs in the bucket mentality. People want to see you do well, they don't want to see you do better than them, because it holds a mirror up to who they could have been. When we're on godly frequency, when we already feel full in ourselves, because we're no longer placing excess importance on acquisition, it's like already feeling whole in ourselves, like being excited about who we are and then being excited about who we're becoming. So it's like, this is not licensed to be lazy, it's giving you permission to be free. Like, all the things that we're doing, building a better body, making more money, living an international lifestyle, All of these things are incredible and they provide so much fulfillment. But it's not the acquisition of these things that allow us to operate from this place of wholeness. It's who we become through the acquisition, and then not pedestalizing these things. Not just thinking because you've got a nice car that every woman is going to be magnetized towards you. Like, certainly you can even find yourself attracting the wrong type of attention, right? Like, yeah, you find yourself attracting the wrong type of attention because, like, does she want you or does she just want what you can provide? But then I guess the argument for that is, well, men are pretty much loved for the value that they provide anyway, which is a fair point. But I think with all of this stuff, it's getting yourself to a place where you actually are operating from self-adoration rather than from self-deprecation, and not placing excess importance on the acquisition, right? Like we said before, what is love? Like, true, like, agape type of love is admiration without worship. So I think just being able to do it all despite it all, and having radical acceptance of where you're at right now. Yeah, like, if you're, I don't know, if you're a guy and you're 5'7" and you think that you're never gonna get a girlfriend because you're not 6'4", it's like the serenity prayer, you know, whatever the prayer is. Like, give me the wisdom to know. Well, yeah, you know the prayer. I know guys are like going all the way to wherever they're going to and like getting their legs snapped so they can be taller. I don't know if you've ever read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, but I think that the stories inside that, they elucidate the things I'm talking about here perfectly. Like, in Psycho-Cybernetics, he talks about patients who go for plastic surgery and they think that the surgery that they're going to get physically is going to improve them internally, but it doesn't. So, like, even if the people get a nose job or they get their jaw fixed or they make their face look more symmetrical, the external wasn't actually the problem. It was the way that they perceive themselves. And then usually what happens with plastic surgery patients is they find something else to latch onto as to why they're not enough, and they project all of this perceived lack of self-worth into everything that they do. So that's why I'm trying to get across to you boys on these streams and the free courses that I give away. It's a mental game. It's not just about becoming the most fuckable version of yourself externally. It's becoming the full package externally and internally. And I think just being your own biggest cheerleader, just acting like you are the best. And that doesn't mean belittling other people. It means elevating yourself. It's showing up as though you actually matter, operating or living for an audience of one, not pedestalizing other people because they may have acquired more materialistic trophies than you. The biggest purchasing power that you have in the sexual marketplace, it's your balls. It's audacity, right? Audacity is arousing. That's why I believe in this discipline of day game so much, of going out there, putting your balls on the line, forging a new identity through the fires of adversity, rather than spending all your days online worried that you don't have this shredded anime physique, or you don't have the Bugatti lifestyle, or you don't have the, I don't know, the 5-bedroom apartment with Japanese toilets that talk to you as you take a shit. You think that, oh, because I don't have these things, then I'm not worthy. And I think it's a fine line as well, because again, you know in yourself if you are slacking off. Again, it's not licensed to be lazy, it's giving you permission to be free. It's a nuanced understanding this. It's like doing everything within your power to feel as good as possible, and accepting that even your best just won't be enough for some women. But just because you don't get some doesn't mean that you won't get any. And the more you improve yourself internally and externally, you'll start to attract your women and repel the rest. I made the point on this channel, I don't believe in the one, but I believe in the notion of soulmates. And I believe that there are women who've been put on this earth specifically for us, and it's our job as men to become the version of ourselves who are ready to receive these women. I think just focusing on your own internal dialogue, the way you talk to yourself, who would you be in the absence of your concerns? Imagine if you were completely free from worry, free from distractions, free from bullshit, which is the mantra that I use. And if you need more help with this, then download my free course, my Most Fuckable Man course. It's a great course. I've got a module titled Mindset Mastery. That'll help you a lot when it comes to inner game, rewiring your internal belief system. But I just think this is so important, like anti-attraction. Like, you might not be the stereotypically attractive guy, but that doesn't mean you can't have a rock star dating life. Like, you might just be, I don't know, average looking, but you could have gargantuan gorilla-sized inner game and just be cleaning the absolute floor with people. Like, look at the guys in Eastern Europe that I'm talking about. Just go over to Eastern Europe and just see how those guys operate. It's a different purchasing power out there. It's about grounded, assertive masculinity, just believing that they're the shit. Like, actually believing as though they deserve the women who they're with. Again, we don't achieve dreams, we achieve standards. We don't get what we deserve, we get what we think we deserve. Perception's reality. Even if it's not true, we make it true by believing in it. Alright, so I just wanted to leave you with that. So hopefully it's useful. If it is, then that's nice. Alright, boys.